I'm continuing to monitor trends surrounding the possibility of some cooler air and widespread precipitation next week. The chance of lowering temperatures is being brought on by a change in the storm track over the Atlantic Ocean, with systems coming from further north rather than from the south and west. For today's forecast, we're going to focus in on the latest updates on the timing and possible impacts of this event. So let's begin. Well, the first thing we're going to be taking a look at is how much of an impact these incoming storms will have on the temperatures. As we know, things are remaining much warmer than normal for most of Europe, and that's been the case for a while now. But like I've been saying, right around February 20th or the 21st, I'm expecting the first round of impacts from these large systems to arrive. You can see some of those blue shades trying to show up, but it's not going to be too significant. But then by the 22nd, we could see a slightly more pronounced wave of cold air, which may be brought in by a strong low pressure area. This could impact Ireland, the UK, and parts of mainland Europe, especially western areas, before more waves of cold air come in with additional storm systems. Here's what this could look like precipitation-wise, and then starting this off today on February 15th, what I want you to take notice of initially is the lack of those blue and pink shades, which of course represents winter weather. As we go through the coming days, we still don't see much snow or ice showing up, other than some mountainous terrain and of course the Nordic countries. But then once we get towards the February 20th and the 21st time frame, when that first big system looks to start knocking on the door, notice how that precipitation type starts to change. We're going to zoom this in briefly towards Ireland and the UK so you can see this better. But here we are on February 22nd when this large system really works its way in. The initial round of rain was associated with that cold front, and behind that, of course, is going to be that colder air. So now all that precip, which once was a bunch of rainfall, starts switching to snow across Ireland and some of the higher terrain in the UK. By the 23rd and the 24th, this model suggests more activity continuing to stream in. Rain and wind will start with a possibility of a drop in temperatures and wintry precip on the back end of these systems. When they move inland, though, they seem to have a hard time reaching the southeastern part of Europe, so those areas may still be stuck under a warmer than normal pattern for longer than more western areas, as an example. So if you're wondering why I'm not expecting a major cold wave, here's why. The fact of the matter is that the vast majority of the North Atlantic is always relatively warm, even as far north as Iceland. This is why it really doesn't matter what direction Atlantic storms come from, they will always have a tendency to be accompanied by milder air. So yes, even though we will see some large systems coming down from the vicinity of Iceland and Greenland next week, it's not going to be favorable for any sustained or major cold blasts. But not having a major and widespread cold air outbreak doesn't mean that everyone is going to escape some wintry interludes, so let's take an early look at the snowfall potential for the next 10 days. Chances are increasing that the most heavily impacted areas by these incoming Atlantic storms will be Western Europe. The colder air will introduce a chance of snowfall mainly for the higher terrain in Spain, Portugal, and France, maybe even as far south as northern Africa. Across the UK and Ireland, snow is going to be possible mainly for the usual areas, such as the higher terrain in Scotland, England, and Northern Ireland, although I would watch out for the chance of snow on the western coast of Ireland. If you recall on the weather tracker map we considered earlier, some of that rain could switch to snowfall over this area if colder air is able to make it far enough east. For the Nordic countries, snow won't be anything new, but of course with storms continuing to impact the region now and well into the next few weeks, we can expect widespread heavy snow to continue adding up. Then across the rest of Europe, snow looks most likely in the higher terrain, but I won't rule out the chance of lower elevation snowfall at some point down the line, especially for Central Europe. So all in all, I think it's safe to say that the winter will be making a bit of a comeback with this new weather pattern, mainly in the sense that millions of Europeans will finally see a decrease in these very warm temperatures. While it won't be an extreme Arctic outbreak affecting everyone, it will certainly be a noticeable drop in temperatures, significant enough to bring snowfall chances for some areas. Like I always say, I'll continue to provide updates as new information comes available, so make sure you stay tuned to this channel. If you have any further questions or concerns, make sure you leave them in the comments, and remember to drop a like if you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next forecast.